Those of you familiar with what's known as retro aviation may mistake this aircraft as the BAE 146. I'm inclined to myself. It, however, is not. This is the RJ regional jet made by Avro, redesigned, I should say, by Avro, and brought to us in the sim by our friends over by Just Flight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Cape Town, South Africa, and welcome to, as previously announced, the Avro RJ regional jet. Or RJ stands for regional jet. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we're going to give this aircraft the standard sample treatment first and foremost, giving it a walk around, taking a look at textures on the aircraft. We're then going to go on a very, very long flight, basically touching the max range of this RJ85. There's 3 variants of this, but we'll talk about that more later. All the way up to Johannesburg in South Africa. So quite the flight, but we'll get to all of that in just a little bit. But without further ado, let's begin. So we will be conducting this flight using live time. It is currently nighttime in South Africa, but for the purposes of our texture walk around, let's brighten things up a bit and make things a little bit more visible to everyone and get into the textures. It is worth noting that this is, oh god, frame rate, I need a new computer desperately. Anyway, it is worth noting that this is a Flight Simulator 2020 era aircraft, so that is going to show quite a bit with a lot of the textures. They're not really anything to sing home about once you get up close. At a distance, though, I think they are okay. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing overtly bad other than the dual pilots on top of each other there. That's fine. But there's not really anything great to sing home about. So, you can be the judge for yourself. Obviously, textures are a subjective sentiment. I think for the era, this is a relatively good aircraft. One thing I do like, because this is a 2020 era aircraft, we have proper external lighting. Nice and bright, just the way it should be. Come on, Flight Sim, catch up with me. Again, more nice external lighting there. You can see the heat blur from the APU. This big guy here actually splits. It's an air brake that comes out of the back. We'll demonstrate that later. I think we'll do a steep approach into Johannesburg. We'll utilize the air brake just a little bit. Like I said, all in all, there's nothing really crazy to write home about. I am staying a little bit away distance-wise because textures definitely fall apart when we get up close. Like so. So we'll take a minute here and walk through the cabin. There's really nothing to behold in the cabin. It's a pretty static situation. Nothing crazy to report. You do have the nice aisle seating, but none of your map lights or anything like that work. This being an older aircraft, it didn't have the overhead fastened seat belts and no smoking signs. There's just a big ol' set of them. Why are these clickable? Okay, well, anyway. Oh, I clicked the stair button. The stairs are... Yep. We just... put those back away. There we go. Which brings me to my next point. This has built-in air stairs, so if you did want to utilize an airport without a gate, you don't need to worry about stairs pulling up. You can just deploy your inbuilt stairs. There's a little switch there as well. There is functional emergency lighting as well. You can see back there. Little emergency exit lights come on. Back. And then the piece de resistance is this little Becker audio control panel, which lets me select and play several different boarding and deboarding tracks. Ready? Hey. It's pretty neat. So there, we'll leave that to run. And I believe it is positional, so I don't remember where the overhead speakers are. What is this? I didn't even know what this is. Oh, look at this. There's I love this. This is great. So now we've got, oh, look at the lighting. Let's go back to nighttime. Stand by. I got the cool jazz. I love this airplane, even though it's old. Like not up to 2024 standards. I adore this. Little again, I'm a sucker for little stuff like this. You know, the fact that I can control my cabin lighting. I love that. I love that. Anyway, let's get to the cockpit, and we'll discuss things in here. So on board the cockpit now, and you best believe that sweet jazz music's still going to be playing in the background. I love that. This is a refresh of, like I said, the BAE 146, British Aerospace Engineering, I believe. Don't quote me on it. But nonetheless, it's a very, very, very nice mixture between old and new. You got your newer style digital displays for both your attitude indicator as well as your HSI. But then you've got the older, I mean, they're still digital, but the older style engine gauges, and then obviously your entire annunciator panel is just switches and bulbs. For the most part, if you're flying in 2024 and you stick to the inside of this aircraft, you're going to be a happy camper, I would say. And with our ground crew returning to the, I guess, ramp, gate, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's take a listen to the, I almost called it BAE. Let's take a listen to the RJ as we throttle up to get out of here. This aircraft has a very, very good soundscape in my opinion. Especially as you transition from the aft to the forward section of the engines. It's even more pronounced in the cabin. We'll take more of a listen to that on our departure when the engines are at a higher idle speed. Alright, pulling up on the active, let's go ahead and tell our flight attendants to be seated for takeoff.
Cabin is secured to departure.
Cabin secured. We're going to go out for a no delay departure.
Airspeed alive. Check thrust. Thrust set. 80 knots. Go. Rotate. Positive climb.
Yep, please.
Zero selected.
Setting for to climb. Let's take a look outside. Alright, now up to our cruise altitude. Let's go ahead and turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has switched off the seatbelt sign. You are free to move about the cabin.
And let our folks move around the cabin. Alright, we're roughly 30-ish miles out from Johannesburg now. Go ahead and slow down my sim rate and we'll dial back the speed just a little bit. And we'll turn the fasten seatbelt sign back on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Captain FS2024 complete platform. Please attend to
And we'll go into a flight level change. This will also give us a chance to open up those spoilers. We'll take a look at those. A little bit hard to see in the dark, but you get the general idea. We'll temporarily brighten things up. Break my immersion. Our immersion, I should say. But you can see those two big spoilers there open up nice and wide to get maximum braking. No overwing in flight spoilers. There's ground spoilers that'll open up over the wing. But as far as your air brake, it's just the little guy at the back. I say little guy. It actually has a good amount of drag. You can see we are up to, where's my VSI? I thought this had an instantaneous VSI. You might be thinking, nope, thinking of a different aircraft. Anyway, we're descending very, very, very quickly. 7,400 feet per minute. Incredibly fast. Alright, just out there in the distance is runway 03 left. I'm going to make a shallow right-hand turn here to get lined up. Let's go ahead and drop the gear. Already reset our packs, turned off the engine bleeds. No reverse on the RJ, but we'll let the engines cool down a little bit less bleed air, or less bleed air entirely, no bleed air being pulled from them, pulling off the EPU. Alright, starting our final turn to line up on runway 03.
1,000.
Captain 360
Landing our flight attendants are set for landing. Let's set our Eber back to token mode.
Secured for arrival.
Cabin secured for landing. So maybe it's just my eyes, but to me it looks like we're now high for the approach. But those PAPI lights are still not changing from solid red. We'll continue with the autopilot. There they go. There's one white. And we'll shoot for a roughly 300 foot per minute descent rate once we get those two white. There's two white. Let's go ahead and disengage the autopilot. We'll turn off the flight directors as well. And we'll shut off the auto throttle.
Minimums. $100.
Air brakes out.
Brake.
50.
I have a little bit of power to offset that.
30.
A little bit of pilot-induced oscillation.
20. 10.
Ground idle.
Ground idle.
Spoilers, yellow and green.
Spoilers are out.
Brake pressure checked.
Air pressure derotating. Let's get back on center line. So that is the Just Flight not BAE. RJ. The Avro RJ Professional by our friends at Just Flight. I absolutely adore this aircraft. That is not my taxi line. Let's go for this one here. How about that? And for a OG Flight Sim 2020 aircraft, I couldn't recommend it enough. I think you guys should definitely check it out. If you're in the market for a light, intermediate range regional jet, which offers some good challenging aspects, but not anything crazy that you're overwhelmed, constantly checking different parameters and that sort of thing. I did say I would mention it, so if you stuck around, good job. If you didn't, well, you'll learn it eventually somewhere else. But anyway, there are three variants of the RJ. The 70, which is the smaller, shorter version of this. The 85, which is what we're currently flying. And then the RJ 100, which is just, again, a slightly longer version of this. There's tons of different liveries, everything from this South African Airways, Airlink, after Northwest Airlines, Air France, British Airways, and many, many more. So, like I said before, if you're in for a nice, challenging regional jet that's heavier on the workload than a CRJ, but not like Constellation heavy. give the RJ a try. Anyway, my name is Sample, and that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I do dearly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one, or maybe I'll track Sunderline a little bit better. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching, and as always, take it easy.